Hello everyone, we are the girls behind The Style That Binds Us. We're a mother-daughter duo. This is my daughter Delia Folk and I'm Alison Broom. And today we want to talk to you about how to start a blog. First of all, let's talk about why we started our blogs. How did you decide to start a blog?
Well, one of the things was when I was on the buying team at Barney's, I was getting to learn about all these incredible brands, and I felt like the rest of the country, it was going to take them years maybe in order to figure out and learn about this new brand until it became mainstream. So I wanted a place to be able to tell my vendor stories and just brands in general that I admired and had relationships with. And then also when someone hears that you work at Barney's, that's definitely a wow thing, which of course did not happen overnight and took a lot of work for my first job out of college to be on the buying team at Barney's. And so they would say, oh, my nephew's sister or my niece's friend, it could be a very distant relative, wants to work in fashion, can she talk to Delia? And so of course I'm more than happy to talk to everyone, but I was basically eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner at my desk, and I didn't have a lot of time for that. And it's almost like the chemistry 101 class. You need a weeding ground in order to say, okay, fashion isn't just like this fun thing to work in. It's very intense, it takes a certain personality, it's very low pay, you work a ton. So it's very different than investment banking where you work a ton but you get a lot of money. So you make a lot of money. And so I wanted a place in 2013 or 2014 when I was trying to work in fashion, I couldn't really Google what does it mean to work in fashion? What are the different positions available? The only way I was able to find that out was by going on LinkedIn and messaging people and seeing if they would talk to me on the phone or have coffee with me so I could kind of understand what does it mean to be an editor versus on the marketing team versus on the buying team. What are the pros and cons of each? What does that job description and role look like? And would I personally think that that would be interesting? So I started a blog to talk about how did I get into the industry, what is it like when you're in it, and the interviews could be about learning the different positions in the fashion industry so that then if someone read the blog about all the many steps it took for me to get in the fashion industry, are they still interested? Then of course I'm happy to talk to them.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because sometimes somebody might decide, okay, I'll take a job as, on the buying team, and then after a couple of years they realize maybe I don't want to be a buyer, but it's almost too late, if they didn't know the other options before they began. So that's all really important information. And then the reason why I started was because you suggested it. I would have never really, back in those years, even considered having a blog, but I have something interesting to say. But I was getting the same questions. If I mentioned something, let's say a bomber jacket, bombers were huge, and I started getting text messages and direct messages on Instagram and things. Am I too old to wear a bomber? What if I have this kind of figure? Can you wear a bomber in that way? And so I was answering all these different people about pretty much the same question, and I thought this would be so great to write a blog that I could shoot to people and not only say whether you should, I would recommend you wore it or not, but also like you could wear it in this way, and here are some possible brands at different price points, and really get, help people be well informed about everything, which eventually led to our YouTube videos as far as being able to see how Delia would wear the bomber, how I would wear the bomber. So it's all kind of evolved, but that's how my blog started. And then I started, interviewing people like dermatologists and hairstylists and things like that. I just was, anything that I was wondering about, I would find the answers to, and let's say cool sculpting or whatever, and then I would share it with my community to help them with the answers. Someone who's 20 pounds overweight said, I think I'm going to try cool sculpting. Well, when I talked to the people at my dermatologist office, they're like, that is not what cool sculpting is for. It's for that extra inch after you've worked out. It's not like a weight loss tool. It's strictly for that last little bit that won't come off when you exercise. So people would waste $1,000 and not get the results they wanted. So I'm always feeling very protective. I want to inform people. Information is power.
The next thing that we did was we found a course. We wanted to maybe be taught and have someone sit down and say, these are the steps if you want to start a blog that you could take. We found a course at Parsons, probably called How to Start a Blog or Blog 101. And one of the exercises that the teacher told us, he gave us a certain amount of minutes, we can't remember how many, but we wrote down 52 different blog post ideas, and then after that time was up, you have, if you're going to post one day once a week, that's a year's worth of content. And then now all you have to do is go home and batch. We thought that was a really great exercise. In that class, we did a lot of thinking about what is our differentiator, who are we, who is our audience, lots of different exercises like that, because of course there are so many blogs, so you really have to have that unique voice and figure out what is it that everybody comes to you for, what are your best skills, what is your special sauce that you can share and teach other people. So that could be a great starting point.
Absolutely, yeah, I think that's all great. That was a fascinating thing, the 52, and he just said write out 52. We thought that's a weird number, and then we realized in the end he said now you have 52 blog posts potentially. So that was really fun, and it was sort of like brainstorming.
The next step would be if you want to go with WordPress or Squarespace. I think those are great starting points unless you know how to code, which we unfortunately do not, and they have great templates. We chose Squarespace, and we chose a template so the website looks elevated, and I was going back and forth about how do I start the blog. A lot of times, if you want to start something, maybe a company, a blog, whatever it is, you set these limitations, and it can almost, some people might not ever start because, oh, well, I couldn't figure out this step, or oh, I didn't know where to begin, etc. They put all these roadblocks, but really, I sat down and talked to somebody on one of my colleagues at Barney's who also had a blog to ask some questions, and she said, just start. All you have to do is start. So I went home that night, I said, I'm choosing Squarespace, I'm writing the first blog post, and it was born. I wasn't going to waste time anymore and procrastinate. One thing of advice that we would give you is to batch. What we would do is both allocate 2 hours or a whole Saturday, whatever it is, and start writing those blog posts. Choose your cadence. When do you want to post? How often do you want to post? And let's say if you're posting once a week, during that batching, why don't you write out 4 blog posts so then you have content for a month? Because it gets very stressful if you say, oh, this Thursday's coming up and I don't have a blog post and it's Wednesday night. Then you have to write the blog post, find images, etc. The next step would be about images. iPhones, if you have an iPhone or an Android, probably has a great camera as well. So you can even, at the beginning, be scrappy. You can get a tripod, an inexpensive tripod, and you can take pictures with a self-timer. I did so much of that in the beginning on my roof, which was hilarious looking back at those photos. You never got to see my face a lot of times because I would use a selfie stick on the way to work and to take my outfit of the day, which was so stressful to get the perfect picture and still not be late for work. So you can either have a friend take pictures of you or a family member. If you have some money, then you can maybe even hire a professional photographer. So get your blog post together, your content, your imagery, etc. Flow it out and have fun with it. You should not start a blog to get famous or make a lot of money. It really needs to be something that you're passionate about, because especially if this is a side hustle, you're spending nights and weekends and maybe early mornings. Emily Weiss of Glossier, when she was at Vogue, she would get up at 4 a.m. and she would write out her blog posts for Into the Gloss and then make it to work by whenever the day started. You have to do what you have to do in the beginning, and look where she is now. Of course, she's built a billion-dollar company, but you have to start it for the right reasons, to be truly passionate about it, and of course decide, do you want it to be an aspirational thing, or do you want it to be definitely affordable for people? What is your niche? What is your shtick?
I think all that's great information. We decided that we wanted to be informational and really make sure every blog post that we put out, every photo we put out, anything would be something that we felt like would be helpful or enhancing to other people's lives, not just about ourselves. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed this short video and then it gave you a little bit of information and inspiration to start your own blog. Keep us posted, let us know. Send us the information and we'll sign up.
Thank you for watching The Style That Binds Us. You can like our video if you liked it, make some comments, let us know what you thought about it. Please subscribe to our channel so that you will know about when the latest videos come out. We post every Sunday morning and we might be throwing in some more on Thursdays. Stay tuned for that. You can go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter, which is the newsletter we send out on Sundays and Tuesdays that are talking about what's going on in the Style That Binds Us world. And follow us on Instagram at The Style That Binds Us to keep up with what we're doing in real time. Almost. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.